1969. What a year, the culmination of the 60s. You really felt it was building up to something really special, and it did not disappoint in any way, shape, or form. We had a whole slew of debut albums in 1969. Yeah, that's year zero for prog rock. Besides King Crimson, Genesis, and Yes releasing their debut albums, we also had Chicago, Crosby, Stills and Nash, Led Zeppelin, Can, Alice Cooper, Renaissance, Santana, the Strawbs, the Stooges, Joe Cocker, Free, Neil Young, MC5, Elton John, the Allman Brothers, Rod Stewart, Mott the Hoople, all put out debut albums in 1969. It was the year that the Beatles played for the last time on the roof of Apple Records. John and Yoko got married in Gibraltar later on in the year. You had the Stonewall situation in New York City. You had the Apollo 11 moon landing. You had Woodstock. Brian Jones dies in a swimming pool. Charlie Manson and his family go on a rampage and kill a bunch of people. But most importantly, two of the best restaurant chains in the world started in 1969. Captain D's started in Tennessee, and Long John Silver started in Kentucky. Very important stuff. But we're going to talk about the 12 songs. Yeah, the 12 songs from 1969 that got my little kid brain going. You know the story here. These are not the 12 best songs of the year. These are the 12 songs that I fell in love with. I was, 69, so I would have been 6 and 7 years old at the time. And so, yeah, obviously, I'd have a different list if I were, 59-year-old Scott was doing this. This is 7-year-old Scott making this list at number 12. It's the Cowslips with Hair. This is a band that was started by Bud. He was in the Navy. He was stationed in Canton, Ohio as a recruiter. So he got all his kids involved, sons and daughters. At one point, I think there were like 8 of them in the band. They had a really big hit in 67 with The Rain, the Park, and Other Things. 1968, they had a big hit with Indian Lake, but Hair is the song that I just absolutely loved. Apparently, they spent a whole bunch of time and a whole bunch of money in the studio doing this. This came as the result of Carl Reiner putting together a variety TV show, and he thought it'd be really cute for these squeaky clean American kids to be singing this counterculture stuff from the musical Hair. Really weird, really cool. I love it at number 11. Smile a Little Smile for Me from the Flying Machine. This is not James Taylor's band. This is a British band of the same name. The song was written by Jeff Stevens, who you might know, who he wrote Winchester Cathedral, and Tony Macaulay, who wrote Build Me Up Buttercup. So that's a pretty good songwriting team there. That Tony McCullough also wrote another song about Rosemary. He also wrote Love Grows, Where My Rosemary Goes, which is pretty cool. But we're talking about Smile a Little Smile for Me, Rosemary, right? It hit number 5 in the U.S. Like I said, not the James Taylor band, the other Flying Machine. They put out one album and then they were done at number 10. Yeah, let's do another song from the musical Hair. It's Good Morning Starshine from Oliver. This was a North Carolina singer. I guess he had one other hit after this called Gene or something like that. But this is the only song I know by this guy. It got to number 3 in the US, number 6 in the UK. And I really loved it because of the gibberish vocals, the doobie yabba nabba, all that crazy stuff he was singing. I just thought that was really cool as a little kid. This song in the musical was sung by the character Sheila, who was performed by Lynn Kellogg on the Broadway production of Hair. The movie, it was actually Beverly D'Angelo playing that part, so that's pretty cool. This song has been used in a lot of weird stuff, including a Ren and Stimpy episode where they're using the song as a evil incantation, and then The Simpsons used this song in an episode where Leonard Nimoy and the cast of The Simpsons were singing along. It's just a great song. I love it. It makes me feel really good. At number 9. Dizzy, my head is spinning. Yeah, it's Tommy Rowe, the great singer from Atlanta. This song hit number 1 in both the US and the UK. The music was done by the famous Wrecking Crew, and these guys performed. These were like a collective of session musicians in LA. They performed on everything for like 4 or 5 years there. Pretty much every record that came out had these cats on it. The first 2 Monkees records were them. Apparently, a lot of Pet Sounds was them. They did work with Frank Sinatra. They did work with Jan and Dean. This guy, Tommy Rowe, he actually had a hit before this in 1962 called Sheila. Unfortunately, all his work was destroyed in that 2008 Universal fire. So he was one of the victims of that. At number 8. When the moon is in the 7th house, it's Aquarius, and Let the Sunshine In, reprised by the Fifth Dimension, Marilyn McCoo, Billy Davis Jr. Man, these guys had a lot of hits. They had Up, and Away the previous year. Then after this amazing track, they had Wedding Bell Blues and One More Bell to Answer, and Last Night I Couldn't Get to Sleep at All. Talk about some great songs there. But we're talking about Aquarius, Let the Sunshine In. This song was number 1 for 6 weeks on the US charts, the spring of 69. It was the most powerful song. It was just so great. When that second section comes in, it's kind of a medley. Oh man, it's just fantastic stuff. I really like this song a lot. At number 7, it's the Guess Who with These Eyes. I could have gone with Lion. That also came out in 1969. But These Eyes is just a phenomenal song. I talked the other day about how Mickey Dolenz might be my favorite singer of all time. I gotta put Burton Cummings in that mix also. Wow, how many guys sing like that? How many guys get theaters named after them in their hometown? Yeah, there's a Cummings Theater in Winnipeg. This song was written by Burton Cummings and Randy Bachman. Believe it or not, it was their 18th single overall. It appeared on their 4th album, Wheatfield Soul. This was the song that really broke them. It peaked at number 6, but I always like this song because of how the modulations, it starts in the key of C, then it modulates to D, and then it goes up another whole step to E, and then the song during the fade out finishes up in F sharp, and those kind of modulations always got my little kid brain going. I always loved that. Little side note, Lawrence Gowan, the Dennis DeYoung's replacement in Styx, does a version of this song on his Greatest Hits album. It's really great. I love it. At number 6. It's the Spiral Staircase with More Today Than Yesterday. This was a phenomenal song written by Pat Upton. It hit number 12 in the US. These guys were from Sacramento, and they were just really cashing in on that horny kind of stuff. You had Chicago, you had Blood, Sweat, and Tears, you had The Flock, you had all these different bands doing this kind of sound. The label insisted on these guys changing the name. Apparently, they were originally called the Fidelians. Spiral Staircase is just a better name. They did that one record, and they were never heard from again. At number 5. Yeah, the aforementioned Blood, Sweat, and Tears with the Spinning Wheel. This came off their 2nd album. It hit number 2 in the US. It was kept off the number 1 position by the next song we're going to talk about. The second Blood, Sweat, and Tears album won Album of the Year at the Grammys. It beat Abbey Road, which is just kind of weird. You had all these different horn bands out there, Ides of March and Electric Flag. Their first album, Al Cooper was the singer, and he left, and the search was on for a new singer. A couple people were mentioned. I guess Stephen Stills was seriously in contention. Alex Chilton was also somebody they looked at. Laura Nyro also. But they ended ended up going with David Clayton Thomas, and what a great choice that was. This song was written by David Clayton Thomas. It came out in May 1967, and really based on the strength of this song is why these guys got a headlining gig at Woodstock. At number 4, the song that kept spinning wheel out of the number 1 spot. It's In the Year 2525 by Zager and Evans. The actual title of this song is In the Year 2525, Exordium and Terminus. It was number 1 for 6 weeks in the summer of '69, which meant that this song was number 1 during Woodstock. This song was number 1 when Neil Armstrong walked on the moon, and that's pretty cool. It was number 1 in the US and the UK, which sets them up for the unenviable distinction of being the only band in history to have a song that hit number 1 in the US and the UK and never chart again. Yeah, that's Zager and Evans for sure. Apparently this thing was recorded in a cow pasture in Odessa, Texas, even though both these guys were from Nebraska. They met at Nebraska Wesleyan University, and it's just an amazing track. It talks about how mankind is just getting worse and worse, and every 1,000 years they look further and further in the future, and it just keeps getting bleaker and bleaker. It's such a great track. I love it. At number 3, it's Tommy James and the Shondells, Dayton's favorite son. Crystal Blue, Persuasion, 1969. What a great song. They had a real big hit the previous year with Crimson and Clover, but I kind of like this song even better. It's real breezy. It's got those bongos going on, and it makes you think you're on a beach somewhere, maybe on a boat sailing around. It's so peaceful and beautiful, but really the song is about LSD. Apparently there's a lot of blue colored LSD out there. It's just a phenomenal tune. I love the acoustic guitars in it. I love the organ break. Tommy James claims this was written after he read the Book of Revelation, but it's clearly about something else, isn't it? At number 2, I'm going with Something by the Beatles. This was a double A-sided single that had come together on one side, Something on the other, but Something was the song that I guess most people view as the A-side here. And if so, then it has the distinction of being the very first George Harrison A-side for the Beatles. It obviously hit number 1. The song, the single came out like 2 weeks after Abbey Road. It's a love song, but Harrison has claimed for years it is not about his first wife, Pattie Boyd. He claims it's about the Hindu deity Krishna. Yeah, I don't know about that. We shall see. But this song was actually written a while back. He submitted it for the White Album, and the boys said, "No, I don't think so." He submitted it for Get Back / Let It Be, and John and Paul were like, "No, I don't think so." So he ended up giving it to Joe Cocker, who did a cover version of it. Elton John has called this the best love song ever written, and Paul Simon referred to Something as the Beatles' masterpiece. I cannot disagree. I absolutely cannot. Such a great song, great chord progression. It's just genius. But there's one song at number 1 that beats it. And we're going to the Three Dog Night and Harry Nilsson song 1. This was the second single off that debut album. It was sung by Chuck Negron. Three Dog Night was weird because they had 3 different lead singers. Chuck sang this one. They had Corey Wells, who's the guy that sang Mama Told Me Not to Come. And they had Danny Hutton, who's still in the band. He sang the Black and White song, which I love so much. You know, if you look back 1969 to 1973, Three Dog Night had 16 U.S. top 10 singles. That's insane, man. They ruled the early 70s like a tyrant, man. It's just great. But 1 is my favorite song by them. They do such a great version of it. I like the Harry Nilsson version, which appears on the Aerial Ballet album. But Yeah, Three Dog Night's version of one just blew my mind. I loved it. I still do. I just think it's creepy and scary and kind of sad all at the same time. Yeah, 69 was the culmination of so much that was going on in the world. The 60s just felt like the world was on fire, and it culminated with Woodstock. It culminated with Neil Armstrong walking on the moon. And now we've got now we got the 70s to look at. Prog rock was born in 69. And I'm hoping at some point I will continue this series to go into the 70s. I would love to do 70, 71, 72, 73 even. We shall see. Like I said earlier, the numbers on these videos have not been fantastic. The response and the comments have been really positive, but the people have spoken by not watching these videos. So I'll probably put this series on hiatus for a little while. Maybe in a couple weeks I'll revisit it. And, maybe I just need to work on my thumbnail and my titles. Maybe I need to get a little bit better in that part of my game, because something's keeping the numbers down and suppressing them. But I don't care. I really enjoyed doing this. Have a great weekend. We'll see what happens next week. We'll see how I feel when I wake up Monday morning. I don't plan anything out. I just wake up and figure, hey, I'm going to do something. So I do it, and here we go. Anyway, have a great weekend. I love you guys. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit the share button, hit the notification button so you always know when my new content's fresh and it's been published. We've got a membership up and running. I've got 5 members in the connoisseur level of the Prog Corner. Thank you to all 5 of my members, and thank you to all 1,600 of my subscribers. I love you guys. Peace.